Welcome to the Christy Jones Show. This is your go-to podcast for living life to the fullest. I am a life and empowerment coach, speaker, and business owner in multifamily real estate. I am a woman passionate about helping others build a life that they truly desire. We'll talk about how to make the most out of every day, from setting meaningful goals to embracing the present moment. So join us as we explore the depths of living a life that is full of joy, purpose, and satisfaction. Well, hello, my friend. Welcome to another episode, another week of the Christy Jones Show. And I am really excited to talk about this subject today of self-image. That's what we're diving into today. I'm going to talk about self-image, how to build your confidence from within. And honestly, the self-image topic has come up a lot lately with my community, with the women that I talk to. This can be with women. This can be with men. This is not like the only thing that women struggle with. All people struggle with this. But this has been coming up over and over in conversations in my community. So I am going to touch on this today in this podcast episode. So self-image is obviously it's an ongoing journey, and we're always developing that self-image, how we feel about ourselves, how we really unleash our inner strength. And it's really about pulling from and building your confidence. And sometimes that comes really easy to some people. And for others, it's like pulling teeth. It's like really a hard practice that they have to learn how to lean into that. They have to unlearn some behaviors to learn some more positive and productive behaviors so that they can have a better self-image of themselves. So I'm going to go into some of those. I'm going to give you some pointers and some tips on how you can improve your self-image. But starting out, I just want to talk about the importance of having a positive self-image. So this has been coming up quite a bit in my community with the people I talk with in coaching. It keeps popping up. Self-image. I don't have a good self-image. I don't look at myself in a positive way, or I'm too hard on myself. Or another way of that someone will say it is that they just don't have a lot of confidence. Maybe their confidence is really fragile at the moment. And those can be very fleeting and temporary things. And those can also be very long, enduring, everyday, week after week situations. So if you find yourself in the scenario of you're just having an off day, something for me with my hormones, like certain times of the month, I'm feeling a little, not so much pep in my step, not so confident. And there's just some chemistry things going on in our body, especially, as women. And I'm sure as men too, but I haven't walked this earth as a man, so I can't speak for that. But there's those days that like your self-image is like, I'm just not feeling my best. Now that's the ebbs and flows of life. That's really normal. I'm talking about your like every day, how you wake up day in, day out, how you feel about yourself. How is it that you look at yourself? Your own opinion of yourself, your self-image. So that's really important. It's very important that you foster a positive self-image. A lot of times the way we think about ourselves affects how we move through our life. How we feel about ourselves, the way we see ourselves affects how we show up, how we present ourselves, how confident we feel going into maybe a new circumstance, maybe even how confident we feel going into like something that we've done a million times before. So your self-image is number one, it's your job, it's your responsibility to nurture that relationship, to figure out what you need to address, what you need to work on, what you need to improve so that you have a really good, healthy self-image. So I will say that understanding the power of self-image, I think most of us can say, yeah, we're on the same page there. Like, we understand that how important that is, that like our self-image really shows up in our confidence. It also shows up in our personal growth. If we are dialed in on wanting to always grow and expand, we generally have a positive self-image because we're not beating ourselves up constantly. And so we're seeking for new opportunities to learn and grow and expand. And that really correlates into having a positive self-image of yourself. So the one thing I want to start off by saying is get that connection from your self-image to your inner strength. Sometimes when we're talking about, our self-image, or someone that's struggling in that department of feeling good about themselves, they're looking at it from almost sometimes like a merely superficial, like looking at it in a different, from afar, in a superficial kind of way, and judging, like, let's say judging a book by its cover. That might be another way to say it. And I want to really emphasize, when you are building upon your self-image, strengthening your self-image, I want you to look at your inner strength. I want you to really tap in to that inner fire inside of you, that inner strength that you pull upon day after day after day. Maybe you pull upon that inner strength in a very subtle way, but I want you to tie your self-image to your inner strength. There is just a force and a power and a vitality behind that you can't, it's hard to put like a word on it. So I want you to really connect your self-image and how you're viewing yourself, and how you feel about your self-image. I want you to tie that and connect to your inner strength, because you have so much inner strength. So if you're feeling weak in the self-image area, I want you to lean in to thinking about your inner strength. That might kind of give you that little jump start that you are seeking and looking for. Also, when you're looking to improve your self-image and how you feel about yourself, embrace your self-acceptance and give yourself some compassion. I say, in fact, I think I said this morning in another session, that you have to meet yourself where you are. And if this is something that you're struggling with right now, meet yourself with some compassion, that you're having a hard time with your self-image at the moment. There's a million things and a million reasons why you could be struggling with that right now. Let's just real talk for a second. Relationships pour into our self-image a lot. The environment that you're in, the people you choose to be around, how you're spoken to, how you allow yourself to be spoken to. Let me just clarify that one, because sometimes we have to put those boundaries up of what's going to work for you and what isn't, right? So you have to like really take a look at the areas that you're putting yourself into. What's causing you to have such a negative self-image? So sometimes those are different relationships that are chipping away at our self-image. I mean, I've definitely been there before in that arena. One of the times I felt worst about myself when I was in an abusive relationship, an abusive marriage. It was horrible. And I allowed that to chip away at my self-image. So because of that environment, because of the boundaries that I didn't boldly put into place, that slowly started to depreciate my self-image. So if you are in this struggling phase right now of how you feel about yourself, and you're going, gosh, I don't have really a very positive self-image about myself, have some compassion for yourself, first of all, and acknowledge. The first step is just accepting, this is where you're at. It is what it is. This is where you're at. So this is your starting point. And just kind of embrace that. You've got to find ways, now that you've accepted, hey, I'm struggling in this area, but I want to get better at my self-acceptance and having I want to get better at my self-image and how I view myself. Practicing self-compassion is key. Stopping the self-criticism, stopping the negative talk. There's absolutely no room in that in your brain for you to be talking negatively to yourself. There's zero room for that. You have enough stuff coming at you throughout the day, throughout the week, that you don't need to be your own worst enemy as well. So you have to recognize when you're telling yourself these repetitive negative statements or these subconscious thoughts that just kind of float up to the top of your mind every so often. And you're like, "Ooh, there it is again." You know, that you need to recognize that, and you need to put the negative self-talk to a stop. This ties into identifying your limiting beliefs about yourself as well. Explore those beliefs that you have about yourself that really hinder your self-confidence. So what is it that you believe about yourself that's chipping away at your self-confidence? You know, write those things down, and those are items that you can, dig into. You can work with your therapist on, you can work with your coach on, but you need to understand and explore what you probably know what they are. You probably know what your limiting beliefs about yourself are, but let's get those down on paper and let's look at those. You need to challenge yourself, because the challenge is reframing these negative beliefs. And when you reframe these negative beliefs that you're holding about yourself, you're going to foster a whole nother level of empowerment for yourself. So your self-image is, it is multi-layered. Like it can be it's really complicated, but at the same time, this can be very, very simple. So look at your limiting beliefs about yourself, write those down, and start to work through those. At the same time, when it comes to, really shoring up your self-image, if that's an area that you're like, yeah, I'm kind of, I'm struggling in that area, and you can see it have the ripple effect in your life, then look for ways to really build and cultivate a growth mindset. I've got a few different worksheets that I utilize in my coaching that really compare like a limited mindset and a growth mindset. And when you really lean into more of a growth mindset, it's more about building your confidence. You're really your inner strength, that inner confidence. It's really a way, your growth mindset really is a way for you to embrace your challenges, embrace your setbacks, embrace this challenge right now that you might be having with your own, self-image. Embrace that challenge and look at that as an opportunity instead of all the negative. Instead of all the negative things of that, look at this as an opportunity. So really lean into and cultivate your growth mindset. Another thing when it comes to self-care is that I really want to emphasize is that you have to focus on nurturing your inner strength and also nurturing your self-care. And you have to explore and actually put into action self-care practices that are going to boost your self-image, that are going to make your well-being better. So part of building building that up, nurturing your inner strength and that self-care is a lot of times putting some boundaries in place. Have you ever found that to be the case? You've got to put some boundaries in place with people, with situations, so you get to prioritize your own well-being. Otherwise, you're going to follow the bottom of the list every time. Women tend to fall into this trap over and over and over because you're serving in a lot of different roles. You feel sometimes more drawn to be the caretaker in a situation, the nurturer in a situation. So what ends up happening is you drop yourself to the bottom of the list. And every time you do that, you're like you're like letting go of that boundary and protecting your time, your space to really nurture yourself, give yourself the things that you need to replenish yourself. So it's like you're chipping away at your own self-image by telling yourself that you're not important enough to create this space, to create this boundary, to say no to this commitment, to say, no to a person or a situation, because you're not putting yourself at higher up on the list. You're putting yourself at the bottom of the list. So over time, that's going to just start to like chip away at your self-image. And then you wake up one day and you're like, I don't feel like I matter. You don't maybe see yourself in such as high regard as you used to. And when I say high regard, I'm really talking about like, you just kind of lose that luster and that excitement and that inner self-confidence to show up in your life as a true expression of you. That's what I mean by that. So when you're building and embarking on improving your self-image, you really, like anything else, you want to set some realistic goals. You want to set some goals that are going to be things to boost your confidence, some things that are going to boost your self-image, some strategies, create some goals, hit some milestones. For instance, that might be, it could be as simple as setting a goal of you're going to walk X amount of times a week. Because when you're, focusing on your movement and your body and, getting everything going and, the mind body connection and the endorphin rush, and then you're going to feel better about yourself. And when all that starts kicking in, your self-image improves. So if you keep that commitment, you keep that goal, you stay on track, you do your workout, you do your movement, you do your walk 5 days a week, like you said you were going to do. You start that next week with a renewed self-image. You start that next week with that little bit of extra that I kept my promise to myself last week. So it's really important to set some goals and set some realistic goals, and then keep yourself accountable to those. So every time you do that, you're building into your positive self-image. And another thing I want to say that is a big boost when it comes to, trying to improve your self-image, if you're in that space right now, is stepping, and this is going to sound so crazy. You're going to be like, okay, this is the opposite of what I thought you were going to say. But one of the best ways is to step outside of your comfort zone and to get outside of the box of that. When you do things outside of your comfort zone, number one, just by doing that, you are building your confidence. You are building your confidence just by stepping out of the comfort zone. When you embrace discomfort, when you really push past the things that you feel are like the limitations that you feel that you have, when you push past those, right there, that is boosting your self-image, because you're getting outside of that comfort zone. You've already broke the barrier. So for me, that's one of the quickest things that when someone's looking for like something, like, I just want to make that shift. I want to make that shift really quickly. I'm like, do something right now outside of your comfort zone right now. Do it today. And sure enough, that gives you just enough shift in how you feel about yourself, because you should be pretty damn proud of yourself. It's hard to do things outside of our comfort zone. I make it a point if I go through my week and I haven't done enough things that make me feel uncomfortable, then I start to worry because I know I purposely put myself in situations that I know are going to be outside of my comfort zone, because I've done that for so long now. I think it's just it's a habit that I've developed, but I've done that for so long that it's given me such great rewards. It's the end effect of that, of getting outside of a comfort zone, and really, it's like going into the wild, wild west sometimes, right? You're like, you know what? This is really different for me. This is really uncomfortable for me. But every time I have done that, the risk versus reward, oh my gosh, tenfold the reward is better. 100%. So getting outside of the comfort zone is a surefire way to improve your self-image. So I'm already can hear somebody being like, okay, yeah, I go do something out of my comfort zone, and then like it's just a big flop, like it's a fail, like I look like a fool for the day, something like that. Sorry, I had to get a drink of water. And so, if you're watching on YouTube, then you get all the hand effects, you get all the things. Anyways, but if someone says, yeah, a great idea, Christy, I'm going to go do something outside of my comfort zone, and then I'm going to look like an idiot, and this is, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to work. Well, first of all, you can't, you've got to silence your brain. You can't go into the situation already doom and gloom of all the things that could go wrong. So we've got to pump the brakes there, first of all. But go into doing something, experiencing something, trying something, putting yourself in a situation where you're outside of your comfort zone. And even if you don't get the optimal result that you're hoping for, I am telling you that just going through that process, you walk away going, just this like renewed energy of like, yeah, I did it. I went for it. And this is what I can do next time to maybe get that to do better, or to get the result that I was hoping to get, or to learn that extra thing that I needed to learn. However, whatever you're shooting for. But my point is that you go through stepping outside your comfort zone and going and doing it, and you feel so much better about yourself because you just went and did it, because you tried, because you did it, because you did it. Like, give yourself some credit. And there's tons of people that are not going to go outside of their comfort zone ever. And that's their prerogative. However, if you're struggling with your self-image, this is an easy, instant boost into feeling a more positive self-image. Is get out of that comfort zone, take some action, do it, and you will feel so empowered because you did it, because you showed up. Bottom line, I don't care what the result is, I don't care what the outcome is, you're going to feel empowered because you showed up. So that's been a practice I've done for so many years, I couldn't even add it up at this point. It just becomes a normal thing. And it's my consistent go-to when someone says, I need to make a shift right now, today. And I'm like, great, I've got a good idea. Here's what we're going to do. And then, ladies, let's just talk about self-image. This has come up quite a bit, and I'm going to talk about self-image as a woman, as we're, anytime you're getting older, like things are changing. And I say, hey, embrace it. Like, aging is a gift. So I hear this, like, I just don't feel good about myself, or I want to change something about myself, or, and sometimes they're starting to feel really good. Like if you're doing inner work on the inside, you're feeling like fired up on the inside, right? And you're doing a lot of personal development work. Maybe you're working through some of the areas of yourself that you're wanting to make some improvements in, or some adjustments in. So you're feeling really good there, but then you're like, but I don't know. I hear this, my self-image, I just don't feel good about myself. Like, I want to like show up in my life feeling as good as I'm feeling on the inside. And so to that, I get very excited, because there is like so many things that we can do to instantly shift how we feel, how we show up in our energy level. So you don't have to go through life feeling like crappy about yourself and just a negative self-image. You can if you want to. I mean, everyone has a choice. I mean, if you can, or you can choose differently. So if you want to choose to have a really good self-image and you want to feel better about yourself and you just want to feel different, there's just like, you've got this growth going on, you're going through this shift in life. I hear this a lot in women as they're in their late 30s and in their 40s, and I say, this is an amazing time of your life. Embrace it. You're going to love it. It is an amazing time of your life. Aging is a gift, first of all. It is a beautiful gift. So enjoy it, embrace it. And then the cool thing is you can make it anything that you flippin' want to. You really can. You can make aging suck if you want to, or you can make aging exciting, adventurous, always something new to learn. I mean, it's really however you want to approach it. So I was talking with someone earlier, and we were talking about self-image and when you feel amazing on the inside, and then you're like, oh, my look hasn't changed maybe for, 10, 15 years or whatever. I want to change something up. You are in the driver's seat, my friend. That's what I was sharing with someone earlier, is that you are in the driver's seat. You want to change your hairstyle, change your hairstyle. If you want to change your makeup techniques, change it up. If you want to try in a whole new style of clothes, branch out and wear some things that you've never worn before. See how it feels. Try some things on. Have some fun with it. I mean, a lot of times what I find is that, like, with the self-image in this context that I'm talking about right now, is they just get in a rut. And like, there's way too many options out there for us, ladies, for us to be in a rut. I mean, literally, like, the box of crayons, the big box of crayons that has, I don't remember how many crayons were in that really big box of crayons when we were kids. Was it 32, 64? I have no idea. We have all those choices and more when it comes to how we want to be, how do we want to dress, how do we want to do our hair, how do we want to age, how do we want to this, how do we want to that. I mean, the choices are endless. So find something that feels good to you and lean into it. I told someone earlier, I'm like, slap the lip gloss on, girl. Give it the bright color. Let's go. Like, there is nothing holding you back. And if you try something and it doesn't help your self-image, then guess what? You just don't do it again. Boom. Solved. Okay, next. So self-image is really something that it can be very inner, deep rooted. When I started this episode off, there's a lot of inner work that goes on about creating a positive self-image and really creating that confidence from within. But then after that, sometimes people are talking about the self-image like, oh gosh, I just don't, I feel frumpy. I look in the mirror and I'm like, there's a million ways to take care of that. And a lot of it is the self-talk that's going on in your head, first of all. So we've got to address that. And once you shift that, everything else, then you've got a million choices for what you can explore and try and do and experience to change how you feel, how you move through the world, how you show up each day. I mean, I still color my hair. I don't do it, but I have my hair colored blonde. God knows what color my hair is at this point. Silver? I don't know. Dark brown. And my hair, used to be blonde when I was younger, but as it got older, my hair started getting darker. I didn't put a lot of thought into it. I love gray hair. I think it looks fantastic. A lot of people look amazing with their natural hair. And I think that's beautiful. I just like this color. So that's the color I'm going to have. And I'll have that color until I don't like that color anymore. And then I'll figure something else out. So my point is, ladies, is that you just have to lean in to what makes you feel good. What makes you feel good? What expression of yourself feels right? And don't get hung up on your age. Don't be like, oh, I'm too old for this, or I'm too young for this, or whatever. Like, who said, like, again, you've heard me say before, who made those rules? Who's in charge of that list? And who are we supposed to check in with? Because I'm not checking in with anybody. Is there someone we're supposed to check in with daily to make sure that the choices that we're making on, how we're choosing to show up in the world, that we're supposed to make sure those are okay? No. So what feels right to you? If you want to try a different style, try a different style. If you want to wear wedge sandals, wear them. You want to wear them with shorts? Wear those. You want to wear high heels? Wear high heels. If you want to wear flats, wear flats. Tennis shoes are more your game? Do that. Like, the thing is like, your self-image has everything to do with about how you feel about yourself, the energy you bring forth. And I want you to be excited about it because you're amazing. And I hope you realize that, how amazing you are from the inside out. So your self-image, what you're perceiving as your self-image, like, you can change that instantaneously. You can change it today. So don't overlook the importance of self-image, but at the same time, don't feel like that it's so insurmountable that you can't take it on and that you can't change it, because you can. You totally can. And you can have a positive self-image about yourself anytime you want to. And no matter where you're starting right now, you can shift that and change it. Always keep at the forefront of your mind the things that you do like about yourself. I mean, that's okay to remind yourself of those things. Doesn't mean you're full of yourself. Doesn't mean you think you're all that in a bag of chips. It just means it's good to remind yourself of your strengths and the things that you do like about yourself. You obviously, if I asked you, what do you not like about yourself? You would rattle off like 5 or 6 things so fast, because you clearly know what those things are. And then when you ask someone, well, what do you really love about yourself? There's a lack of pause, or they're not sure, or they don't want to just come out and say it. Come out and say it. Like, especially if you're just doing your journaling, like, this is you and you. So just be truthful. Remind yourself what you love about yourself. Things that are unique about you. Lean into the things that are unique about you, because there's only one you. And there is all the uniqueness of you ties in to this amazing self-image that you can have about yourself. And then there's always going to be things that you want to improve on or learn to love about yourself, or come to better terms with. I mean, we're always going to have those things. But the bigger list, the longer list, needs to be all the things that you really love about who you are, how you show up in the world, what you bring to your presence of being here on this earth right now. Which is, if you're not giving yourself enough credit for your gifts, your talents, there is a force much greater than all of us that has given us all these gifts, that's given you your unique gifts, talents, abilities, your personality, how you move and show up in your life. Like, you've been gifted so much. So Why hide all of that? Explore it, share it, be proud of it, and let it, glow for you. I used that term this morning with someone. I was like, girl, you just got to start glowing up. Whatever's going to make you feel like you're glowing, that's what you do. And I really believe that sometimes. I think that there's times that you have to just lean into what's going to give you that little glow today. So some days you just have to ask yourself that, like, what is going to give me the glow factor? And I mean, it could be everything from, for me, I was saying, on my nail polish, I have white nail polish, and I wanted gold glitter, because when I look down at my nails and I see the gold glitter, it brings me joy. Period. Simple as that. Nothing fancy. There you go. And when my nails don't have that, I'm like, some days I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't really like that as much. I look down on my hands and I'm like, But so that's a simple fix. Toss some glitter on my nails. We're good to go. So you can make this as complicated as you want or as simple as you want. Bring some humor, bring some light into it, have some fun with it. Like, you're building a positive a self-esteem, the way that you're viewing yourself. The way that you're viewing yourself, it doesn't have to be like all harsh, all heavy, all the downside, all the things that you need to fix about yourself. I want you to bring some like lightness and fun into that. I want you to see like all the wonderful things about yourself. I want you to focus on that. And don't forget, if you want a quick little pick-me-up, you just get out of your comfort zone, and you'll feel instantly proud of yourself for stepping out of your comfort zone, and you'll have an immediate positive self-image of yourself just because you got outside of that comfort zone. There's so much beauty in that. 100%. So I want to share this quick story, story time, that something that I had just gone through, and it kind of ties into the self-image thing. So I want to say it's been, I don't know, I think it went on for about 10, maybe on day 12 now, but for 9 days straight, I had the weirdest thing come up to where I had, it was like a skin outbreak. I had a lot of swelling. I had facial swelling. One day my bottom lip swelled up so big that, well, I can't even explain it. It was just like, I don't have big lips anyways. So my bottom lip was huge. And then after that, then I had like this, what ended up being hives, which they weren't sure if it was first they thought it was an insect bite, and my body was having a reaction to that. Anyways, long story short, apparently it was some bacterial type infection. Saw a handful of doctors. They did a great job. We finally got it figured out. But the moral of the story is, over the course of like 9 to 10 days, I looked like I literally had worked in a nuclear power plant. I would wake up some days, my whole body, face, ears, whole body covered in, I look like an alien. And I was like, and my husband was even like, oh my God, he was going, is this the rest of my life? Did I sign up for this? I was like, yeah, you signed up for this. It was terrifying. I was like, and honestly, seriously, I was like, wow, but here's the thing. The old me would have flipped the freak out and had like lots of anxiety about this, because I'm telling you, the images it was head to toe. Like it was like you could tell something was going on in my body that was affecting my immune system, and it was just going haywire. And so, because his words of, it looks like you worked in a nuclear power plant or radiation something, and like I had no safety garments on at all, and I just walked through like a bomb. And he was right. I was like, wow, this is crazy intense, right? And so the old me would have had a lot of stress and anxiety over this and just been like, oh my God, already been like, oh my God, is this ever going to go away? And what is this? Is it going to leave scars on my skin? And what's going to happen? And all the things, right? The little rabbit hole or rabbit trail that our brains kind of go down sometimes. But I didn't. I think he was actually surprised that every day I'd wake up and I'd look at myself in the mirror and I went, huh, okay, this is what I have to work with today. And I still went about my day, moved through my day, you know, um, you know, did my sessions, was on video, went about in the world, got on a plane. I mean, all the things. And I know people were like, oh my God, like what happened to this person? But I didn't. My point is I did not allow it to affect my self-image at all. And I think years ago, that would have been hard for me. I would have been embarrassed. I would have been like, feeling like I needed to cover it up. I would have just felt really uncomfortable. I would have been much more self-conscious. The old me would have been way more self-conscious about that. But the me today, I was just like, did I like it? No, I didn't like it. Did it look nice? No, it didn't look nice at all. And did I want to get to a solution? Was I trying to do all the things and get with the doctors, figure out what was going on, what I could do? Yeah, I was doing all those things. So I was taking the steps that I could take, but I also knew that I'm doing everything I can. And I just accepted that this is what it is right now. And my point is I did not let that affect my self-image of who I am. Someone said, oh my God, I can't believe that, you went wherever I went that day. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I literally this does not what's going on, what was, because it's all gone now and all cleared up. If you're watching this on YouTube, hey, things are back to normal. But I didn't care. I didn't worry about the opinions of others for sure. And it's such a freeing place to get when you get there. If you're there, send me a message if you're there, because you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not there, you want to get there. Trust me, you want to get there. But I didn't care. I really didn't care. And it didn't. So all this external things that were going on, which we couldn't figure out, couldn't get answers, couldn't seem to stop it and put things at bay. Every day it was like a new circus going on in my body. I didn't let it affect my self-image. It never really chipped at me. I was just like, okay, this is what I have to deal with today. We'll see what tomorrow brings. And then the next day came, and there's a few days it was way worse. And I was like, this is kind of discouraging, but I'm going to do what I can and move about my day. It is what it is. So there's something just about accepting and then not allowing the external to have really anything to do with your self-image, because your self-image comes from inside. So when I've heard lately women come to me and say, I don't like what I see in the mirror and I want to feel better about myself and so on and so forth. I hear you. And I am all about girl, I'm just like you, man. Let's get the cute clothes. Let's do our hair. Let's do you, whatever you want to do, whatever makes you feel good, you do it. But 95% of the time, that feeling of not feeling good about ourselves comes from inside. So no matter what's going on externally, what really comes through is how we feel internally. So I gave that example of that little skin circus event that I went through for about 12 days, just to give an example that all hell can be breaking loose on the outside that you think would affect your self-image. But when you are grounded, centered, calm, focused, empowered from within, there's nothing that can shake it. It's hard to rattle that. It's hard to rattle that self-image. So at the end of the day, really focus in on how to work on your inner self. If you're wanting to improve your self-image and have a more positive self-image about yourself, it starts with the insides. And all of that then will start to come and shine on the outside. So your self-image is more of an internal process than an external process. Well, I hope you have found this episode a little entertaining, insightful, and helpful. And as always, I love to hear your feedback and your comments. So please leave me a review, give it a rating. I love the 5-star ratings. So please drop those, whether you're on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever. And of course, you can always send your questions, your comments, and your feedback. And all the information is there in the show notes. So thanks for tuning in today. Continue to focus on your self-image. Focus on the positive aspects of you. Create that positive self-image because it's your job, no one else's, and it's an inside job. All right, till next time, I will see you soon. I'll see you in a week. Have a great day.